Well, my friends, I thought I made this video already, and then I realized I didn't, so I'm going to make it now. I want to just give a little bit of my insight into why comparison is useless and is not helpful, both in recovery and in life. More in recovery, but both. So, I am privy to reading people's patterns pretty deeply because of both my journey and the skill set that I've gained and the work that I do. I get to look deep into people's minds, into their psyches, into their brain patterns and where that all came from and how it all, connects and everything. And one of the things that has been so cool to see is how each of us has a completely unique brain structure. So we all have our own life experiences, and because of there's two aspects to this. There's your life experiences, and then there's your innate, so nature versus nurture. There's your nature. There's an inherent mystery to what it is to be human in terms of the way that each person experiences things in a completely unique way. And we can't explain exactly why. Why, when 9,000 people are at the same concert, do they all have a slightly different experience? Like, who knows? Everyone has a unique experience. It's pretty cool. The other part is, how you were raised, what you've been exposed to, the state of your nervous system as habitually through life, what ideas, what thought patterns, what belief systems were embodied by your parents, whether or not you had certain connection or attention needs met when you were an infant. There are just limitless variables in terms of what makes our brains the way they are. And that determines in recovery specifically how our brains respond to our tools. And that's huge, because when we start out recovery, there is no any kind of recovery, or when anyone starts any process, but especially in recovery, because we are coming from a place of impairment, we're inherently not in a neurotypical space when we're starting recovery. Our brains are not operating properly. So how they respond to the tools is going to be very, very unique to each person. And that's one way that why comparing yourself to other people in recovery is really misleading, because you're not supposed to respond the same way as everybody else. And that's why understanding the patterns and how the whole thing works in the bigger picture is more important than knowing the structure of a program or what's supposed to happen, because you're a human. There's no supposed to. Your system's going to respond. Your brain's going to respond the way it does. Nothing can change that. So that's part of it. In particular, again, in certain brain rewiring programs like DNRS and I think possibly Gupta, there is such an emphasis on positivity and people sharing only their wins that everyone ends up feeling like everyone else is doing better than they are, no matter how well they're doing. We end up just seeing everyone else's wins, and only the people who are having wins share, and the sites are censored so that you can't, like, if you share something that doesn't follow that rule of positivity only, then oftentimes your comment gets deleted or censored, and so we're not getting a full picture of the other side of things, that people all struggle in this process. It is not easy for anyone, and there is always struggle, and some people struggle a lot, and some people maybe a little bit less, but it's never easy for anyone. So the perspective we're getting and the expectations we have, and between the perspective from brain rewiring communities and the fact that we're coming off of this assumption that if, this very, again, it's this limbic 3-year-old lack of depth, lack of understanding of all the variables, perspective that if someone else had this result in their recovery, why don't I have that result? Because you're you, and you didn't, and you have a different path, and you maybe need to go somewhere else first before you can get there. And I mean, there's a million different possible answers to that question. And they don't make you wrong, and they don't make your recovery unnecessarily slow, or it doesn't mean you did anything wrong. It doesn't mean that you're falling behind. It doesn't mean that you're lazy. It doesn't mean anything. And that's part of the reason why, for me, one-on-one coaching is going to be forever an integral part of my work, because until I sit down with someone and listen to how their tone of voice in conjunctions with the word they use and what I can see that they mean by that, and the way they talk about everything and the overall energy of how they talk about it, and I get their full picture of their life story. And when they say things, I can ask them a lot of questions and clarify. Like, that's so important, because, and that's one of the reasons I don't often answer questions in the YouTube comments, because I can't do that with you, and I don't want to give you more inaccurate assumption type of information. There's so much information out there that just says, well, just do this and this will happen. Even when it comes to diet, it's like, well, everybody's body's processing the food differently. So, you know, if you got a pregnant woman or a 5-year-old or a 25-year-old man, they're all going to process the same meal very differently. It's not calories in, calories out. You know, these things just don't line up. We're not machines. So, across the board, that's why that one-on-one, that's why I do Zoom calls, just because I want to be able to speak to someone who's having an experience and connect with their experience, so that I give them the right information in the right form, so that it actually helps them. But that's why, again, comparison and assuming that certain things are going to, activities are going to produce a certain outcome, is all irrelevant. Like, it doesn't make any sense to do that. That's not how reality works. So and then existentially, we are all limited. So just kind of to speak to, like, generally as a human being, you're not supposed to be good at what everyone else is good at. You're really not. Like, you're supposed to be good at being you, and you have something no one else has. You can be yourself, and there is a particular combination. The way I was talking to a friend about it, when we all conform to society and try to be good at the same things and have the same competencies, because that's what's considered good enough and approval worthy by society, we end up all looking like suburban houses. It's like, it's all essentially the same thing with different window trimmings, and it's really boring. And if you go through neighborhoods where, you know, every house is custom and they're well built and they're well designed, but they're custom, it's a fascinating experience. That's what life's supposed to be like. That's what the world is supposed to be like. And that's why you're not supposed to be good at what everyone else is good at. And in a way, it's like you have a gift to bring forth to the world by being who you are, that you might not even be aware of yet. And that's part of the purpose. That there was a quote I read recently by Pablo Picasso, that the meaning of life is to find our purpose, and the purpose of life is to give it away. That we find the meaning, we find our purpose, and then we give it away. And that's the meaning and the purpose of life. And I really think that's true. So that's one reason why I always encourage people to find your core resonance. What is it that brings you alive and consistently brings you alive? What are the things, the activities, the sounds, the experiences, the people, the music, the movies, the stories, the whatever, that just makes you feel like, yes, this is why I'm here. Like, I don't know exactly why, but there's something about this. Like, this is why I'm here. This is why I'm on Earth. Like, yes, that. And that can be great direction. But it's, again, you're meant to create something on Earth that's never been created before. So it's gonna feel awkward as you walk your own path and do your own thing, because you're doing something that definitely no one has ever done before. So there's no, like, measuring stick to compare it to, other than, am I doing my best to bring this gift forth and to understand it accurately and bring it forth in a positive and constructive way. That it's all internal. So anyways, I just wanted to bring that forth, because there's so many comparison pops, both in recovery and in life, that keep us so stuck, where we feel like we're supposed to be somewhere we're not. And it's just so important to tear down all those supposed to's, so that you can live and recover and just experience life and be who you are, and find your gift and give it away, because that's the point. And it's a flippin' glorious process. So enjoy the process, because that's also part of the point, is to enjoy it. So that's my offering for you guys today. I hope that you listen to this a bazillion times and drill it into your own mind, that you do not need to be someone else to be good or successful or to recover. You just need to be you. It's enough. Love you guys.